Well, I found this interesting, man. I don't usually talk about rappers and shit like this, but rapper Kanye West, who has been a very vocal supporter of Donald Trump throughout most of 2016, in particular during the campaign, you see here taking a picture with Donald Trump. And as recently as a couple of months ago during a concert which was cut short by Kanye, where he shouted out Donald Trump, much to the dismay and disapproval of the crowd that was there. Kanye West has done an about face, has done a complete 180 apparently, and he now is a very vocal anti-Trump guy. He deleted all texts and tweets really that referenced Donald Trump, and the source of his about face and his reversal, apparently it was Donald Trump's immigration ban. This makes sense. I don't understand why most African Americans are against it, even though we usually have lineage in this country that goes farther than a lot of people who would look at us as foreigners. Like for instance, I know my family has been in this country since at least the 1700s. But for some reason, some people look at me as a person who needs to go back to Africa. But his wife, Kim Kardashian, of course, their family, their lineage, of course, goes to Armenia. And I would assume the people, in her lineage would be sensitive to something like this. His wife, was a supporter of Hillary Clinton. Apparently this had caused a little friction between the two politically. And the immigration ban was the last straw for Kanye, and he's now vociferously against Donald Trump and his policies and his administration. My thing is this, though. Like, there was a period of time, man, when he first announced when he was running for president back in 2015, I believe it was, right? There was a time, I'd say from the summer of 2015 to about the winter of 2015 going to 2016, when I realized that Donald Trump was not the type of guy I want to be president. On so many different levels, okay? So many different things about him I didn't like. Number one, it was this, at first, subtle racism that was being espoused by him. Then it became a little bit more pronounced. The type of people that were at his crowds, I started noticing his crowds were getting wider and wider. And I started noticing, you started seeing neo-Nazis and people like of that ilk in his crowd. I can't be on the same side of people like that. Then it's just him as a person. I just don't think that he's qualified to be president of the United States. You know what I'm saying? It took Kanye that long to figure out that Trump is not the nicest person in the world. Kind of reminds me of that South Park cartoon, man, where everybody got the joke about the gay fish except for Kanye. Kanye just cannot figure out, for the life of him, the gay fish joke. He was so late, and it's sort of like the same thing in real life. He's really late to the party on this one. I mean, Donald Trump meant what he said. Now, I had held up hope that maybe Trump was trolling, but no. Trump really, in essence, I look at his presidency almost as what would have happened. What would have happened if a guy like Pat Buchanan ever became president? But Pat Buchanan, in comparison to Donald Trump, is George Washington when it comes to intellectual capacity. I mean, Donald Trump truly is a very limited man mentally. He might have shrewd business skills and business sense, okay, but he has no business being in the White House. But I'm gonna say this in closing too, man. Kanye West, guys, like, I know there's people like Kanye and Ice Cube and all these guys, right? I think one of the reasons why they're so drawn toward a guy like Donald Trump, some of it, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think some of it is black self-hatred, because Donald Trump represents everything that a lot of black people, and in particular black men, secretly want to be, which is powerful and respected. And Donald Trump represents that to them. And I'm talking about black men who have self-hatred issues. Many of them are in awe of a guy like Donald Trump, who commands a lot of respect because of his name, his money, his prestige, whatever, right? And also, I think a lot of these guys, they were not supporting Hillary Clinton, mostly because of a tendency with a lot of people, and I think it's a problem with males in our country, of chauvinism. All right, they didn't want to support Hillary Clinton because she's a woman. Like, a lot of people say, well, she's corrupt, she's this, that, and whatever. I believe if the candidate was Elizabeth Warren, they would have found a reason not to support her. She's a liar. She's not a real liberal. Or she's not a real progressive. Whatever. It would have been all these different reasons why you just don't want to support someone who has a vagina. You know what I'm saying? But at least that's just my opinion on it, man. But in closing this video up, I think Kanye, I guess all power to him for finally seeing the light, but I don't know, man. What took you so long? I guess you're starting to finally see that everybody's seeing what this regime, which I see Trump's presidency as, this regime, what it's going to be about. Okay, this isn't no joke. And if you look like a guy like Kanye or whatever, you shouldn't be standing next to this guy, because it just doesn't look right. It's sort of like seeing a picture of George Gershwin standing next to Adolf Hitler, or Albert Einstein cheesing with Hitler. It doesn't look right. You know what I'm saying?